Hello and welcome. I want to keep this video short, but I have few warnings before you start watching it. First, there is a ton of light elements in this video. Some of the viewers told me that they are using TVs with high brightness settings, and they asked me to switch everything to dark theme, but essentially this video will have a lot of light elements in it, and unfortunately I can't change that, so that's one. And secondly, you will most likely have problems watching this video on mobile device, because network maps and overall information on the screen will appear too small to watch it on the mobile device. So keep that in mind as well. Today, I wanted to talk about TheDude.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
No, not that dude. This dude. Dude is a small monitoring tool from Mikrotik, however you pronounce that. So it's a monitoring tool from Mikrotik that's designed to be lightweight and easy on system resources, but it can do a lot of things and it can do them well. You can use TheDude for simple monitoring because it supports SNMP, ping. It also supports TCP sockets requests like HTTP and SSH, so you can check if that service is up or not. And you can also use it to display basic documentation and network maps. So let me show you around a little bit. This is my production setup, but I removed most of the private information from it, cloned the VM, and I'm showing it to you now. So as a first map, I have Nebula nodes. If one of the Nebula nodes goes down, I'll log into it and I'll check why the service turned off. And you can have maps as simple as this, or you can have maps as complex as this, and this is actually not that complex, but you get the idea. You can have multiple elements, connect them with links, you can have networks, you can have nodes, you can have links, and you can have static objects. Because this is, for example, a static object. There's also this thing called submap. If you click on it, you will go to a different map, and I can go back and forth between these two maps. And why I said this is a good documentation tool, it's because you can link static objects to one of your nodes and you will see exactly what it's all about. Links can also have captions on them, so you can understand where the link is going. For example, on one of my maps, I have a dumb TP-Link switch that's connected to a Raspberry Pi router. And here I specify that internal Raspberry Pi 4 port is connected to switch port number 1. So if something happens on site, I can tell the person who is there, hey, can you please check this cable that's going to port 1, is it up, etc. Then my storage node is connected to port 2. Then OpenWRT access point, that's actually a TP-Link Archer C60, is connected to port 3. But this is a good documentation tool. Whenever something goes wrong, you have it all in front of you, and you can guide the person who's on site, give them some more information on what needs to be done. The links have different types. For example, this is a point-to-point link. So it's a link of type point-to-point, and it will be represented on a map like this. And this is a wireless client, and wireless link is represented this way. I don't know why it's that way, but well, it is what it is. If you don't like the looks of it, just change it to something different. One of the features I really like about this software is the auto-discovery. For example, let me deploy a few VMs on my test host. So VM1, VM2, and VM3. And now I want to PyVM start all. VMs will be shortly up and running. And I'll go back here, click on settings. And as you can see in here, I have auto-scan enabled for these networks on this particular map. And if I disable and re-enable this record, it will automatically start looking for new hosts within this subnet. So let's close this and wait for it to finish. I know that it's not going to find anything else because we only have 3 VMs in this network, but I just want to show you that this VM will automatically be linked to this network. And hey, as I was talking about it, it just happened. So yeah, Dude will automatically discover the nodes on the network and it will connect it to the right network within the map. The only thing is that it's placing the items randomly, so you're gonna have to move them manually to the place you want them to be. Let's change the name of this node and let's shut it down. Test VM3. By VM minus minus VM kill test VM3. Alright, VM killed. And we will shortly see the green color change to red. I can reprobe it manually. If you right click on the object, you can choose reprobe option. Let's ping it. And yeah, it's not replying, but the dude is still probably thinking about it. Yeah, so it says that it's unstable. There is some time for the dude to realize that the device is down, because, you know, it might be just a packet loss. Alright, give it a few moments, but essentially where I was going is that we have green elements on the map, we have amber elements on the map, and we're gonna have a red element on the map. And what they represent is green, everything is good with your device. Amber represents some services that's failed. For example, HTTP is offline, but ping and SSH is up. So that's why it's showing the amber light. And then we're gonna see the red color in here shortly. And hey, again, as I was talking about it, it's turned red now. And if we go to settings, we can see that ping is timed out and services 1 down. Now you can also see this blue color, and I'll show you what it does in just a moment. So you can acknowledge or unacknowledge problems with your devices, and they will turn blue on the map. For example, I can right click, acknowledge, and it will turn blue. So this way I know that there is a problem with the device, but someone is working on it, or maybe there is a reason device is down. For example, it's down for maintenance or something like that. And there is also this concept of parent devices. So if you right click and choose settings, you can choose the parent on this map or any other map. And our parent is Beehive Hoster test. Apply and OK. So now whenever this host is down, there are no checks performed on this child element over here, because naturally, if the parent is down, child will be down as well. It works well for switches, firewalls, VM hosts, you name it. Another cool thing you can see in here is that I have custom icons for my devices. And you can actually make it even bigger. For example, I want to go to 76, and this device is now much bigger than other devices. That way you can represent parents and children, or if you have one device that's really important on your network, you can make its image bigger so it's more visible on the map if the map is very big. And let me return that to its original 20%, I think. Yeah, something like that. There are some tools you can use too. For example, I modified the web tool, and now it's using custom field 1 as a link. Let me show you how that works. if I wanted to go here and say that https google.com is the web address of this element, I can save it. Now I can go to Tools, Web, and it will open up the browser tab automatically for me with the address I specified in custom field 1. And it can be any protocol you want. It can be RDP, it can be VNC. The main thing is that you associate the protocol with some software on your system and you will be able to reach it. And this is useful for situations where you have OPN sans router running on custom HTTPS firewall, and you don't want to document that somewhere visible on the map, but you still want to right click and go to that firewall web UI easily. It also deserves few extra points for access control lists. You can have different users with different permissions, users that can only view maps, users that can edit maps, and admin users that can create other users and edit anything on the system, like maps, tools, probes, and whatnot. On the negative side, I would include having only Windows client, so they don't have Mac or Linux packages. This is running on Linux at the moment, but I had to use Wine to get it up and running. It's actually pretty easy and it doesn't require any additional configuration within the Wine itself. But having a nice agent for Mac and Linux would be a big plus for me. Another downside is that you can't install server software on any Linux distribution. You're going to have to use Router OS. And although it's very easy to get it up and running, it still might not be an ideal solution if you have an already established network with Ansible scripts to control everything, and you're going to have to learn one additional system. Router OS has the web UI, but when it comes to Dude, it looks horrible. I'll leave it for you as a homework to check it out, but trust me, it looks so horrible, I can't even look at it for more than 5 seconds. Now with this all covered, let me actually show you how to install this beautiful piece of software. Go to mikrotik.com/download, scroll down to Cloud Hosted Router, and download one of these images. I'll choose VMDK long-term release. Download. It has 34 megs, so it will be finished in no time. Sorry, not that. Now we need to go to VirtualBox and create a new machine. Let's call it TheDude. Type Linux, other Linux, next. You can give it even less than 1 gig of RAM and it will work just fine. So let's move on to the next step. And here we want to attach the disk we just downloaded. Not very good for a production system, but we are on a test one, so I'll just attach it directly from the downloads folder. And let's create that. Now we want to go to settings. Switch network to bridged. Then go to storage and add a new disk over here to keep our data. Choose the disk. Okay. Now start the VM. I'll minimize this and I'll keep this always on top. Now I can close this tab. And let's first format our drive. I'll explain you why it's necessary in just 1 minute. The default login for this system is admin and empty password. I don't want to see the software license. I already read that. So as you can see here in the documentation, we need to type /disk print. So disk print. We have disk 0, which we need to format. So the command is over here. /disk format drive 0 file system ext3. Then label dude data. Okay, let me make it a little bigger. Now when the drive is ready, do disk print again, and you'll see the file system type and how much free space you have in there. Now we can just do file print, and you can see that disk 1 has a directory in it called lost and found. That's all good, and now we can close this tab as well. Links to the documentation will be in the description of this video. And now we need to move on to the dude configuration itself. So what we need to do is say dude set, sorry, not that. Oh yeah. Dude set data directory disk 1. Okay. And now we just need to initialize the service. So dude set enabled equals yes. All right. /dude print. The service is running. Sweet. Now the only thing that's left is to check the IP address. And for that, we need to say IP address print. Our address is 192.168.120.4. Let's connect to that address. So 192.168.120.4. And as you can see, the dude just died for a second. So what it did, it synchronized the dude version to the server version, because they are different between my production environment and this VM. And now it says that it's getting stuff. I don't know what it's getting because everything's empty, but hey, let's give it a few seconds. So this is the empty dude playground that you can add devices, networks, submaps, and whatnot to. One quick note is that if you don't have DHCP server running on your system, you're gonna have to set up a static IP. And that's done pretty simply. Just Google router OS IP . And you'll probably see something like this. Yeah. So add address, then interface and network. Then you'll be able also to specify the gateway, and that's pretty much it. If you need DNS, specify the DNS server for that interface as well. It might be your internal DNS, it might be the external DNS. Nonetheless, you can specify the DNS like on any other Linux VM as well. Now, why did I create another drive and placed my dude data on it? Because if now I do file print, you can see that all the dude files are placed on disk 1. Well, there is a good reason for that. Imagine you want to upgrade your router OS image. And what you can do, you can just throw away the old image, download new image, place it over here, follow the steps in the installation, like for example setting the IP address and setting the dude data folder, and that's pretty much it. You have your dude up and running again. Also, when you're connecting to the dude server from your dude client, you have the password option in here, and this will be the exact same password you used to log into your system. And if it's a default one, that's going to be admin and empty password. Because if I click connect, you can see that I'm getting stuff. Otherwise, it will say that password is invalid. But I strongly recommend setting a password on that system as well. And again, that's pretty easy too. Just Google Mikrotik set password. And, follow a few links on the internet, like this one, user print, then user set 0 name, and if you want to change the root name to something different, or rather admin, sorry, not root, then user set 0 password, so this is the user ID, and then password, and then you specify what the password is. And, that's pretty much it. But I strongly suggest you do that for your production system. Thank you very much for watching. That's it for this video. If you liked it, please click the subscribe button and the like button to help me out with Google algorithm to promote this channel. Because remember, we have a OpenWRT setup at 5K subs. If you want to know more about that, please watch my previous video. If you would like to support my channel, there are donation links down below. And if you would like to reach out, because I'm doing a lot of IT consulting work, you can reach out via email or in our Reddit community. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.